Let's move on to type 3 of module 8. It's all about drawing the ladder diagrams based upon the given conditions. So in this type of questions, they will give you some conditions to redraw a diagram or to find the faults in the given diagram. Okay, let's move on to the first question. Question number 4. Draw the motor control circuit that could be used to run a conveyor belt and meets the conditions. A relay coil with normally closed and normally open contacts is used to control the process. If a start push button is pressed, the motor starts and green bulb goes on to indicate the motor is running, which means if you press the start push button to indicate the motor running, a green lamp should be on. If a stop push button is pressed, the motor stops, the green light goes off and a red bulb goes on. So which means if you press the stop push button, which is this one, the red lamp should be on. Thermal overload relay is used to interrupt and protect the motor. Okay, let's see how to draw it. Okay, for any circuit there should be a stop button and start button, and there should be a latching and holding circuit. Okay, so we are starting from with the stop button, which is normally closed, and you should draw a start button which is normally opened. There should be a latching and holding circuit relay contact CR1, or you can name it as M1. It's your choice. But you should name the relay coil with the same name. Like if your relay coil is CR1, your contact should be CR1. If your relay coil is M1, the contact should be M1, like that. Okay, so now I have a relay coil and a latching and holding circuit. And now from this readings you came to know about that there should be two lamps. One is green one and the other one is red one. So place in the second and third rung, place in the second rung the green one, or place the red one in the second rung, and third rung keep the other one, either green or red. Okay, so and go through this one. If the start push button is pressed, the motor starts and the green bulb should be on. So if you press this one, the relay coil will energize, and you want the green lamp should be on. If you place a normally closed contact here, when the relay coil energizes, this will be opened and the green lamp will be off. You want the green lamp should be on, right? So please place a normally opened contact here, so that once your relay coil is energized, this will automatically close and this lamp will on. And if you press the stop push button, you want the red light to be on, right? So if you placed a normally opened contact here, when the relay coil energizes, this will be closed and the red lamp will be on. But you want this red lamp to be on in the off condition, which means when you press the stop button. So if you press the stop button, if you are placing a normally closed contact here, nothing will happen, right? It will remain in the same condition. So which means the current will flow through this, since this is closed normally, and red lamp will glow. So this is the final figure for this conditions. So please go through the conditions one by one, and should remember that there should be a start and stop button for every ladder diagram. And you can either place a latching and holding current if it is not specified in the question, or if you are not sure, don't do that. It's fine. Either if you add this circuit, or if you didn't add this circuit, you don't lose marks for this one. So this is the question number 4. Let's move on to question number 5. The operation of an elevator is controlled through a control panel as described below. This is a very, very important question, and it is a repeated one. So please study this question with preference. Okay, first priority. So I will go through the conditions first. Okay, if the up push button is pressed, the elevator must move up until up limit switch is activated or stop push button is pressed. If the down push button is pressed, the elevator must move down until the down limit switch is activated or stop push button is pressed. When the elevator goes up, it should not be allowed to go down until upper limit is reached or stop push button is pressed. When the elevator goes down, it should not be allowed to go up until the lower limit is reached or stop push button is pressed. Thermal overload is used to interrupt and protect the motor. So there are some conditions and you are given with a circuit which is the wrong one. There are some wrong connections. A student assembled the control circuit below to do the job. Unfortunately, the circuit did not function properly as it has some fault. Redraw the wiring diagram by correcting the fault. So this is an easy one because they gave you a figure. So just go through the lines, the conditions one by one, and you can figure out what is the wrong one. Before that, I will tell you the circuit is used to control an elevator. Okay, there are two switches, up push button and down push button, to move up and to move down. Okay, once you press the up push button, the elevator should move up until a limit is reached, or which means if you press the up push button from the first floor and you want to go to the fifth floor, until the fifth floor is reached, the limit switch should not be opened. So in this figure it's given opened. It should be normally closed like this, so that the elevator will move upwards, right? So when you press the up push button, this should be closed, and so the elevator should move up until the fifth floor is reached, then only it should be opened. This is the point. Okay, and you can see the relay coil here, this is right, but you can see an auxiliary contact here which is M2 and this is M1. What is the purpose of keeping it normally open? If it is normally open, nothing will work, right? If it was normally closed, what will happen? Let's see. Let's see this figure. I placed this two contacts normally closed and this one is closed. Okay, let's see whether this works functioning right or not. When I press the up push button, the current will move like this, since this is normally closed and normally closed. So I will reach here and the relay coil will energize, and this will be closed, providing latching and holding circuit in this way. And what happens, let's see, here there is an normally closed M1, right? So when this relay coil energizes, this will be opened automatically, which means if you press the start push button, I mean up push button, even somebody press the down push button, the elevator won't go down because automatically this circuit will become opened. Okay, or if you start with the down push button, what happens is that the current will flow here and M2 will energize, and automatically this circuit will be opened. Since there is a contact associated with M2 in this place, this will be open and nothing will work for if you press the up push button. So this is the final figure. Please go through the conditions and learn how to draw the ladder diagrams using limit switches. Limit switches means once the limit is reached, then only it will be open. So the normally condition of the limit switch is normally closed. Okay, there are some situations in which we are using normally open limit switch, but it should be specified in the question. Okay, so that's about this question. Let's move on to this thing. The motor control circuit shown in the figure below is used to fill a water tank manually using the start and stop push buttons. Modify the circuit such that the motor operates automatically. See, this one is manual one. Why? Because you need a start push button to press, right? If you press this one, the coil will energize and the latching and holding circuit will work, and it will provide the working of the water tank. They want you to make it in automatic, which means no need to press anything. It should work automatically. So read this one. Two limit switches to represent the lower and upper level sensors such that when you press the first limit switch as low level sensor, the motor should start, which means if you have a water tank, there should be a limit switch which is at the lower level, and there should be a limit switch which is working on the upper level. When the water reaches the lower level, it should automatically switch on. When it reaches the upper level, it should automatically switch off. This is working. This is what is mentioned here. Okay. So what you have to do is you have to replace the start push button with two limit switches, one with the latching and holding circuit and one before the circuit. Why? Because you should place the upper level sensor before and lower level sensor in regard with the latching and holding circuit. I will tell you why. The upper level sensor is the one should work first, because once your tank is filled with enough water, the motor should stop, and you know that the circuit should start with the stop button. Okay, for a limit switch, the upper level sensor is always working as a stop button. Okay, and it should be normally closed. Then only, like a stop push button, then only when the limit is reached, it will be opened and make the circuit opened. So once you place your overall emergency stop button, you have to place your upper level sensor, because the upper level sensor is acting as a stop button for the water tank. Okay. And lower level sensor should be placed in latching and holding circuit, and it should be normally open type. Why? Because to start the automatic process, you need some switch to start it, right? For example, if there is a low level of water in the tank, then only you need to start the automatic process. So this should be normally open type. And if you find it and the water is very low, you can press this one, and once you press this one, it will automatically work. For example, once you press this one, the current will flow through this and the water tank will be filled soon with enough water. Once the upper level is reached, this will be automatically opened, and the circuit will automatically close. And if you want to close the circuit manually, you can press the emergency push button and the whole circuit will be off. This is all about type 3 questions. In type 3, they will give you some conditions. Either they will give you a false figure and you need to find the false, or you need to draw a new one based upon these conditions. Always start with the stop and start push button, and learn how to draw this elevator ladder diagram, which is very important, and also the automatic one. Normally they won't give the conditions, they will ask you directly to draw the ladder diagram or control circuit for automatic water tank. So you need to study this one by heart. Okay, that's it.